head of digital asset research at Vaneck is openly attacking the XRP community. I couldn't believe it, but it's true. Let's get into it. David Schwartz and the community respond. We also are going to take a look at a ton of new information around the spot XRP ETF. Stephen McClurg, the CEO of Canary Capital, is out here being interviewed, and a lot was said. I want to highlight some of the things and what to look forward to over the next few days. But let's go ahead and address the FUD here. So you can see that Matthew Siegel is the head of digital asset research at Vaneck. There's no making this up. And so he decided to wake up today and post this. Dear XRP Maxis, I may never understand what your blockchain actually does, but I'll always respect the passion required to pretend it does something. Keep up the hustling. Fair enough. And then so Lon Cooper says, keep pretending you don't get it for engagement. And he highlighted the Ondo Ripple BlackRock partnership for tokenized US treasuries with the 24/7 redeeming around the clock in RLUSD. And Matthew Siegel responds, he says, cool initiative, but does any of this actually accrue value to the XRP token holders? I'm not aware of any fee capture, revenue share, burn, or economic linkage. I think maybe I'm not smart enough to understand, but I'll keep trying to learn and update my view. So he keeps jabbing away at people. David Schwartz comes in with the 1-2 punch here. He says, you asked what the blockchain actually did. You got an answer. Your response was that you couldn't get passive income from it. Is the blockchain ethos no middleman, be your own bank? Or is it, if I can't tax other people for profit, I don't care about it? And just to give you some information here, he's been at Vaneck for the last 4 years. He joined in 2021. His responsibilities at Vaneck are leads research and insights for Vaneck's digital asset division, helps guide the firm's strategy. So somebody who's actively supposed to be out here building bridges across the crypto space is openly waging war on communities. Is this a good look, Vaneck? I really don't think so. Also, to give you some due diligence and some additional information, Vaneck is one of the largest ETF issuers. They have $160 billion in assets under management as of 2025. They also have a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. Their Bitcoin ETF nearly has $2 billion in assets under management. They have all kinds of just different products here, as well as Vaneck has active filings and plans to launch new ETFs tracking XRP and Solana, which are part of a wave of a new crypto asset product. So it looks like, the research team doesn't know what the other team in Vaneck's actually doing here. You wouldn't think the research team would be actively trying to make things worse for a space, and then they're trying to put out products, because I can tell you the XRP community after this is not going to buy anything of your products. That is probably for sure. You would need someone to come out here and maybe apologize for this person's, it's one thing to go out and ask questions because you don't know. But if your sole job is the head researcher at Vaneck and you still don't know, maybe you're not doing your job up to the professional standard that we should be talking about here. And so this is all over X right now. Vaneck executive attacks XRP, gets dragged by Ripple CTO and the entire community. This one is wild. Matthew Siegel, the actual head of digital assets research at Vaneck, posted a snarky jab at XRP holders, basically admitting he doesn't understand what XRP's blockchain even does. For a guy running a research of a major asset manager, this is insanely unprofessional. I don't know how this turns out, but if you are trying to garnish favor in any of the blockchain space, openly attacking one of the most outspoken and loyal communities is probably not a good way to start here, Vaneck. I don't know what to tell you, man. You guys are maybe it's time to hire a new head of research. I'll back that. I will back that. All right, let's play this. Crypto Eerie did post this great clip here. We're going to shift gears and get away from the FUD and get into what's actually happening. Here is Nate Garossi sitting down with Stephen McClurg talking about the ETF and the orders that are happening behind the scenes.
And we're also seeing a large amount of orders this morning for in-kind and XRP as well. One of the things that when in-kind orders come in, you don't see it in trade volume. So trade volume is a little bit tricky. It doesn't necessarily translate one-to-one on AUM or inflows. It's just what's being transacted throughout the day. But when you have people moving their coins from a wallet or a ledger into an ETF, that trade volume doesn't occur because it is in kind. And we're also seeing a large amount of...
All right. Let me just go here and get us some more information here. We did see $58.563 million yesterday transacted. We did beat Solana by over $1 million, which is pretty juicy. And there were a lot of people that underestimated what XRP's response was going to be here with the ETF. It was out of 900 ETFs launched in 2025, the first day XRP remains at the top of the mountain, baby. Let's go. Looks like XRPC from Canary Funds has the largest one-day trading volume for any ETF launched in 2025. All right, I'll take it. I will take it. And then, of course, this is some midday numbers from Thursday. XRPC 677,000 ETF share volume, about 16 million, opens at about 9:30 a.m. Huge volume buy at 85,851 shares. Full day projection down about 2 million shares, but this is starting to build. Remember, you have this one ETF, you have about 10 others that are right behind it. You start getting this demand for every ETF, XRP is going to start climbing. But Kendra Hill says Canary Capital's XRP ETF holdings increased by 4,760% after just one day. This is taking XRP off the open market and it's locking it up into these funds. That's exactly what we need to see. The less available supply of XRP on exchanges, the higher the price, right? When there's low supply and there's nothing there, the price is going to follow. And that is what exactly we are. Now, how do I feel about ETFs? Owning XRP, obviously it's going to be beneficial, more liquidity, more value. This does put XRP in the hands of more institutions, right? Retail already has a problem not having enough XRP, not having enough control. And when we are buying these ETF products, we are still giving more and more control to some institutions. I just wanted to highlight, it's a plus, it's a minus, however you want to look at it, it is still the same. But let's take a look here at some of these inflows. XRP net inflows, $2.33. And then Chad says, right now you're sitting on a beach watching the tide pull out and asking the question, where's the tsunami? And then here you go. We also get Scott Melker here talking about the ETF before it launched. Remember, Scott Melker has been a very outspoken person against XRP on X. I don't know if it's for tweets, engagement, clicks, whatever it is. He goes out of his way to not understand a whole lot when it comes to XRP. We kind of go through these 6-month cycles of him asking the same questions. But hey, that's what Scott Melker does. Let's play this.
XRP ETF launching today, which I think I don't know how it'll do today. I don't know what it will mean for underlying XRP, but having interacted quite frequently with the XRP army, I think this thing should do quite well. Because right now, isn't mostly crypto just trades on Lindy? Like you would kind of just, you get the effect of the crowd and they buy and they're excited and that breeds more buying and excitement. I think this thing should do quite well. Solana's done well, the ETF.
Yeah, it might do.
They don't want to admit it, man. They don't want to admit it. Scott admitted, the other guy was like, can we talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, please? That's where I feel more comfortable. That's what the guy's thinking. And also here's Scott talking with somebody else.
Gates swinging though, right? Got an XRP launch of an XRP ETF, which was the best of 25. I think it outpaced the BSOL by about $1 million, but that was obviously a success, even in a down market. But more importantly, the regulators and
listen, all of the people against Ripple and XRP are going to find anything that they can to come in and say negative. Like, you have the best performing ETF out of 900 ETFs launched in 2025. And he says, I guess it did okay, right? I guess it did okay. Sure, man, whatever you say. And also something that is developing here is Flare Network. It is getting exciting because the more that Flare builds this DeFi infrastructure out, the more XRP that's going to be required to make it all run. The more XRP that is going to be staked or, people are going to be earning yield off of it. It's going to lower the circulating supply. If we can lower that circulating supply and available supply down to just mere nothings, XRP's price will be forced to go 3, 4, 5 digits. And that's exactly what we're all hoping to achieve here over the next few years. Hugo is locked in. Crypto Erie says, I'm on 30, 40, 50 billion XRP in XRP to create an insurance market with Firelight Finance. Let me play this.
I think what will increase XRP, the 50 million that's been bridged, is now 60, I'm quite glad to say. What will increase that 10 times? Firelight will increase that by 10x. Like, Firelight is built for scale. If you look at insurance markets, they're 30, 40, 50 billion dollars, right? We can take 30, 40 30, 40, $50 billion of XRP in order to ensure and in order to give cover to those markets. So it's really built for scale. And because XRP has no native yield, just being able to give some yield back is valuable. Getting that staked representation and then putting that into the Flare ecosystem to maybe borrow against that staked representation and do more with your money, I think that grows to, multiple billions, already. Some of the hurdles there are, where are the pools of XRP? So you have a big retail pool, but you also have a huge amount of retail that are holding their XRP at custodians and exchanges. So onboarding exchanges, it has been pretty critical for us. That's a process we're very comfortable with where we are. So I think there'll be a number of exchanges participating in Firelight, first of which is already announced, called Uphold. And then really making the experience as easy as possible for retail with smart wallets. That is critical. So smart wallets allow a XRP user to only ever make transactions on the XRP ledger. They never need to come to Flare. So they can bridge their XRP to Flare and direct where that XRP goes on Flare without ever touching Flare. Just because we have data protocols that can read a memo field on the XRP ledger, so we can basically abstract away all of the complexity of using Flare. And that's coming hopefully in December.
Guys, so much is happening right now on the XRP ledger. I know the price hasn't really moved too much over the last few days as the market is falling, but think about it. XRP's price is staying very steady as Bitcoin is falling below 90,000 or like 95,000, right? There's people, I think it's right now it's below 100,000. There's a 70% chance it drops below 95,000. People are worried in the market right now, but XRP is holding its own. So please try to understand that. Also, guys, if you want to support this and get this in front of more people to really call out Matthew Siegel, the way that you could do that is to like this video, leave a comment down below, and share this video with someone you know. Please make your voices known. Are you happy with what is said here? If not, you got a voice. Get on X and tell them how you feel. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. I'm Crypto Sensei. Aloha.